We leave the moon, we leave as we came, and God willing, as we shall return.
You probably dreamed of this.
Liftoff on Apollo 11.
You probably replayed this moment 1,000 times.
Four wheels off the ground air.
You probably imagined the awe-inspiring, indescribable rush of the ride. You probably celebrated the miraculous, cheered the momentous, and mourned the shocking. You probably still dream of what could be. We did. We do. And while many thought we were through, no. We've been learning, we've been building, we've been training. And now, it's time. Because the next frontier is not just for the next generation. It's for this generation. It's for me, and it's for you. For everything we still dream about. We go as Artemis.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Johnson Space Center's Office of STEM Engagement, welcome to NASA. I am Jessica Cordero, manager of the Texas High School Aerospace Scholars Program, also known as HAAS. At this time, I would like to acknowledge our new director of the Office of STEM Engagement, Mr. Dan Cherry.
Thank you, Jessica, and hello to everyone, all the participants of HAAS. First, let me say that without your leadership and the mentors as well as the participants' participation, we would not have been able to make this program a success this year. And so wherever you are, whoever you are, if you are connected, what I'd like for you to do is to give those who supported this program for this year a round of applause. So we really appreciate that, and we appreciate the over 600 people, over 600 participants with us today, and over probably 1,000 people with us right now, with parents, friends. And so what I want to stress upon you today is two things. You know, NASA's mission is to drive the advances in space technology, aeronautics, and space exploration to enhance knowledge and education, innovation, economic vitality, and stewardship of the Earth. That's a really long mission statement. But I think some of the things that you've experienced through your program, you've got a taste of that. And I want you to continue to build on those things that you've learned throughout the program. I know that you all have had a really, really riveting online program and some of NASA's core values. You know, we set a course for values that are safety, integrity, teamwork, excellence. And here recently, we've added a core value of inclusion. And so I think that throughout this program, you've also been included in what we do. You understand what our values are. You understand how to move from Earth, Moon, and on to Mars. And so I leave you with this. Please continue to be an ambassador for not only this program, but other programs that you participate in that are affiliated with NASA. Continue to reach back to your fellow colleagues that you may have established friendships with, because you never know where they're going to go and you never know where you're going to go. And use this as a springboard to connect to other opportunities at NASA. Thank you so very much, and congratulations once again. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Dan. This summer, 600 Texas students became the latest cohort of rising high school seniors to complete this unique NASA experience. This year, we are celebrating 21 years of the Texas Aerospace Scholars Program, which began in 1999. TAS includes high school aerospace scholars and later expanded to include opportunities for community college students and summer internships. We could not achieve our goals without the continuous support from our founding partners, the state of Texas, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, the Rotary National Award for Space Achievement, and our newest partner, Texas A&M Engineering Experiment Station, also known as TEAS. At this time, we would like to take a moment to honor the late Mr. Gene Ollier, a lifetime director with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. His support of NASA was immeasurable, and his longtime support of the Haas program will always be treasured in Houston and throughout the state of Texas. Gene's investment in STEM education will light lanterns of inspiration for generations to come. His legacy of promoting access to education for all, which we will all continue to foster and recognize, will remain one of his greatest achievements. NASA continues to make history. Astronauts Christina Koch and Jessica Meir conducted the first 3 all-women spacewalks. We launched American astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken on an American rocket from an American soil. The American pride has never been so high. The Perseverance Mars rover was launched and is headed to the Red Planet. Bob and Doug returned safely to Earth, and many of us witnessed our first splashdown, which was the first splashdown in 45 years. The International Space Station has been orbiting the Earth longer than the Haas students have been alive, and we will celebrate the ISS 20th anniversary in November. And finally, added to the list of history is the Haas class of 2020, the class that stayed the course through a global pandemic and completed the first ever Haas virtual experience. Watching online today, we have many special guests from across the Johnson Space Center, including center leadership. Also watching is External Relations Office Deputy Director and former Director of the Office of STEM Engagement, Miss Cindy MacArthur. This summer, we had the opportunity to reinvent Haas, which resulted in a gamified experience that focuses on future Artemis missions. Our team literally worked at the speed of light to bring you an engaging, challenging, and memorable summer experience. I also want to recognize our talented team of educators that developed the Haas Moonshot activity. NASA STEM Pathways Activities Consortium for Education, known as InSpace. They played a key role as they are responsible for the implementation of Haas and other educational programs for NASA. Representing InSpace is Principal Investigator, Dr. Susan Stansberry. Along with the development, several InSpace team members helped with beta testing. Also assisting were 2 JSC interns who were last summer's Haas alumni, and 1 student from Texas A&M. Thank you, Nakaya Bynum, Gustavo Ramirez, and El Herrera. Next, I would like to introduce my team. This incredible group implemented the new experience for the students, provided professional development to the teachers, and trained the NASA scientists, engineers, and interns to prepare them to mentor the students. This is a special team that I call the Haas Dream Team, and I am so honored to work with them. Crystal Del Rosso, Deb Durham, John Davis, and John Wilson.
Thank you, Jessica. And so we also had some teachers from around the state of Texas that were helping us with the Moonshot course. And so we just wanted to give a huge shout out and thank you to the game moderators for their dedication, hard work, and long pronto hours. Communicating and facilitating the Haas Scholars during the virtual journey, we truly appreciate your help.
Good afternoon. The next group of people who have been instrumental in making this Haas activity valuable are the engineers, scientists, and specialists from across NASA Johnson Space Center, who offer up their time, their talent, and wisdom as team mentors. This year, we had 35 NASA mentors, and 7 of them are Haas alumni that are highlighted in red. Thank you so much, NASA mentors and Haas alumni.
It truly takes a village, and along with our mentors, we had the NASA interns working tirelessly with the students to answer technical questions, as well as inform them about their path to NASA internships. Thank you so much, interns, for all your time and help with the students in Pronto.
We also want to thank two members of NASA's internship team, Annalise Giuliani and Jennifer Becerra, for sharing information with Haas students on internships and careers at NASA. And we cannot forget the contribution of Haas alumnus and NASA employee, Antia Chambers. She was a student in the very first Haas class 21 years ago. Thank you.
All right, afternoon. It is my great honor to introduce our guest speaker, astronaut Michael Fink. Mike was an Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps, ROTC cadet at MIT. Mike was a flight test engineer in the Air Force, serving in various positions and is now a retired colonel. Colonel Fink has over 1,900 flight hours in more than 30 different aircraft. NASA selected Mr. Fink as an astronaut in 1996. He is a veteran of 3 space flights, Expedition 9 in 2004, Expedition 18 in 2009, and STS-134 in 2011, with a total of over 381 days in orbit. Interestingly, he is a qualified co-pilot of Russian Soyuz spacecraft. He served in various capacities on board the International Space Station, from science officer, flight engineer to commander. Mr. Fink logged over 48 hours of extravehicular activity time on 9 spacewalks. He is currently training for the crew flight test for Boeing CST-100 Starliner spacecraft as part of the commercial crew program. At the end of Mike's presentation, we will have a few students ask questions on video with them. With that, Colonel Fink, again, great having you with us.
Hello, John. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be here. And congratulations to the Haas class of 2020. It's amazing. And not only congratulations for what you've done, but for the skills, the talent, and the energy you have for what you're going to do. And so I'd like to talk a little bit today with the kind of your commencement kind of speech, the closing ceremony here. Can someone, John, could you tell me if my screen is sharing properly now?
Yeah, looks good, Mike.
Okay, fantastic. See, we astronauts, we work together as a team, just like you guys have learned. So I'd like to share with you a little bit why we do these things. Why do we have NASA? You know, when there's people in the world, there's a lot of troubles here. But every time that we human beings, every time we understand our universe a little bit better, we can make life better here on planet Earth. And that's what we do at NASA. Even though we explore off of the Earth, we're gonna, you know, we go to the space station in low Earth orbit. We're gonna go to the moon, and sometime soon, hopefully to Mars. It's so that we can make life better for planet Earth. So here's an example. In the 1700s, if you were a wealthy person, you could entertain your friends with parlor games, such as storing static electricity in Leyden jars. And then when they weren't looking, or just when you wanted to make a point, you could shock them. And wasn't that fun to do for your friends, right? But it was just a parlor trick. But we human beings, we put our minds to it. Maxwell made his famous equations in the 1800s and showed us that magnetism and electricity are all connected. They're one and the same. And not only that, since we knew what characteristics it had, we could harness this electricity, we could harness magnetism. And that led to all kinds of incredible discoveries that made life better on planet Earth. You can see this guy here, Thomas Edison, invented the first practical light bulb. And with that light bulb, we've gone a lot farther than that. And we have different kinds of light bulbs than the incandescent ones that save a lot of energy. We have ones that save a lot of energy these days with our LED light bulbs. And just because we went, you know, we understood our universe better from parlor tricks to light bulbs, we've we've conquered the night, and that's made life better on planet Earth. We don't have to go to bed at when the sun sets and wake up when it lights. And you can see some video that we taken from space station, how much people are counting on light bulbs to make life better on planet Earth. And all those orange splotches are cities full of lights, full of people with a different way being able to harness the powers of the universe. And one of the things, our primary goal or primary result of that in trying to understand our universe better right now is the International Space Station. And I think over your course of studies, you guys got to learn a lot about the ISS. And of course, probably when you first started this program, or when you first sent in your applications, the only way to get to the ISS was with the Russian rocket Soyuz. And as you heard Jessica's talk at the beginning, we have other ways to get to the space station. First, we started with cargo missions, commercial resupply. Without the space shuttle, we had to get the astronauts the food, we had to get them their scientific experiments, had to get them their clothes, water, these important things. And we do it by commercially. NASA kind of has several different services that we could use. One of them's the SpaceX company, one's the Northrop Grumman company, formerly Orbital ATK, and of course a new company coming online with the new mini space plane, Sierra Nevada. And we're going to be able to, we have been able to keep the space station resupplied. And we said, hey, why don't we do that with people too? So instead of buying the rocket and buying the capsule, we're buying a service. And that's a part of our commercialization to space. Here's Doug and Bob on the launch pad and getting ready to launch into space with the commercial crew program. I've been working on that since my last mission in 2011. And of course, we're not going to just leave all of our eggs in one basket. We've got the Boeing company and the mighty Starliner, which flies on the Atlas V. And in the bottom left corner, you can see me and my crew. That young lady, the Lieutenant Colonel in the Marine Corps, you can see on the right-hand side of her crew. She was also the star of that video you saw at the beginning. That's Lieutenant Colonel Nicole Mann. We call her Duke. She's awesome. And in the middle, we have the world's first kind of company astronaut. He's with the Boeing company. He used to be at NASA, and now he's with the Boeing company. And not only does Boeing have pilots that fly airplanes, they have pilots that fly spacecraft too. And of course, you guys know about this, Artemis. And I'm very excited for Artemis. It's our future. We need your help. That's why we spend our time and effort to help you guys along, is because we're going to need help. We're going to need all hands on deck as we use Orion to fly a crew aboard the SLS to our gateway, the mini space station around the moon, and the human landing system that goes up from the moon to Gateway and back. That'll allow astronauts to explore the moon again. And that's why I became an astronaut, because I was watching people walk on the moon. And again, we need your help. And that's why we're so proud of you, and congratulations again. 15 countries worked together to build that incredible space station. It's humanity's only outpost to the stars. It goes around planet Earth at 17,500 miles an hour. When I first became an astronaut, it wasn't built yet. All the pieces were on the ground. Me and my classmates, me and my friends, colleagues across the planet, we helped build the International Space Station. And again, the only way to get there until very recently was with this Russian Soyuz. And I had the privilege of flying Soyuz twice because I learned how to speak Russian language. And that's one of the secrets I'm going to leave you guys with today, and you guys know it already. that the more things you know, the more opportunity you have. And it's really cool being in space. Can you guys imagine being there? I bet you guys wake up every morning kind of like I do, say, man, it's going to be so cool. And to be honest, we are building a really incredible future. There's only been 500 people, I think 530 something, that have actually been in orbit out of the billions and billions of people on planet Earth. Well, we're building a future where more and more people can see what I've seen. So you guys will have a chance to fly in space. I hope it comes to you, and I hope you take that opportunity if that's your destiny. This is a picture I took of Professor Greg Shamatoff. He's a professor now. At the time, he was just my crewmate. We called him Taz. And Taz was on the outside of the space station. I took this picture of him. You can see planet Earth below. You can see myself taking the picture. I'm not going for the selfie. I was trying to take a picture of my friend. And here we are on the outside of the space station. It's a wondrous thing to be up in space. Space has the magical properties where you can spend great time with meals with your friend. You can turn these 40-something-year-old guys into kids again. You can see what water does. Space makes you a great dancer, because I don't dance this well on planet Earth, but it's like I'm floating in air. Well, I am. By taking gravity out of the equation, you can demonstrate the laws of physics, like the law of angular momentum, the law of Bonk, and you can fly. I'll tell you what, this never got old. After 381 days flying, it just wasn't ever going to get old. There's my friend Taz again. We built an aquarium. Those aren't real fish, those are just candy fish. But we didn't even need any glass to hold the water. I invented a maneuver called the Iron Man maneuver. Pretty soon you'll see everyone doing it. I also thought of different ways to wash my face in space. And that's just water, folks. Now here's everyone. It's Mark Kelly and Greg Johnson, and on STS-134, I taught the whole crew how to do this Iron Man maneuver. There goes Taz again. Imagine being up there. I showed you what the outside of space station looks like. Here's the inside. Can you imagine floating along? Here we go. There's Greg Johnson. That's Katie Coleman. She has a lot of hair. You see the laboratory where we get a lot of good work done. There's Mark Kelly. He has no hair. And my friend Paolo Nespoli. We got myself and Drew Feustel getting ready for a spacewalk to go out into the open cosmos with just a spacesuit on. This is the part of the Russian space station. It's a little bit different looking and different feel, but there's no passport control. We work together as brothers and sisters flying in space. And that's the space station on the inside. Insider's view of our beautiful space station. And that's kind of what myself and my generation have done. We took a space station that was just pieces on the ground. We put it together, and now we're reaping the rewards with all the fantastic science that we're getting. You can see we at NASA, we don't just explore planet Earth and low Earth orbit. We don't just explore the moon. We explore our whole solar system. When I was growing up, we just had some pictures of Mars and in the moon, things like that, but and Saturn from a distance. Now we've sent probes all over the solar system. We have people who are driving robots on Mars, right? Some of my colleagues from college, that's what they do. They're robot drivers for Mars. How cool is that? There's plenty of room at NASA for you guys to use your talents in science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. And I just want to shout out to my friend Pluto in the bottom right there. Pluto used to be a planet, but now you're a dwarf planet. But who would have thought you would have been so interesting? Who would have thought that we would have had the technology to send a probe so far away with such pinpoint accuracy? Here's the thing. We want you guys to be able to work together as teams. And that's something that I think you got to see, even though it was all distance learning and on the over the internet and video conferencing. But this being able to work together as a team is really important for all life's endeavors, but especially spaceflight. It's the biggest sports team out there is for spaceflight. It took all these people to launch a space shuttle. We astronauts get a lot of credit for all the flying in space, but we're not the ones that pour the rocket fuel. We're not the ones that program the computers. We're just part of this fantastic team. Our country We've learned to work with other countries too. Some of these countries, just in human recent memory, we were fighting 75 years ago. Now we're friends in space. And if the former Soviet Union and Russia and United States can work in space together on a fantastic job like the space station, we should be able to get along together here on planet Earth. Astronauts. It takes all different kinds of people to be astronauts. The more different kinds of people we have, the astronauts, the stronger our team is. You can see Katie Coleman, lots of hair. Mark Kelly, no hair. You can see folks that were born in Europe and Asia. You can see people that are girls, people that are boys. You can see people that are darker skin and people are lighter skin. It doesn't matter. We all work together as a team in space. I was a kid once too. You might not believe it, but that's me. I was about 8 or 9 years old. And at that time, there was a Soviet Union going along. Our country was having its 200th birthday. And I made a model rocket at a science program that I paid for myself out of my own paper route money. And I built this rocket just like all the other kids in the class. And this was a model rocket of Vostok. Vostok was the Soviet Union's rocket that took Yuri Gagarin into space. And it has a distinctive shape right there. And you can see me. I was trying to get some accurate scientific data by looking at my watch. And I was really glad that rocket went up. Fast forward to 30-something years, here I am launching off of Yuri Gagarin's launch pad, the same launch pad that Yuri Gagarin launched off of, in a rocket very similar, based on his, called Soyuz. And who would have ever guessed that a little kid from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a Steelers fan, was going to be launching off of Yuri Gagarin's launch pad, with the mighty Soviet Union, well, now Russia, working together in space. And that's the thing. The world's going to change around us. It keeps changing. Pandemic, no pandemic, and you just got to be ready for the future. And that's what we tried to do with you with the Haas program. Be ready for the future. So in order to be ready for the future, and in conclusion, because every graduation speech needs to give some sage, some wise, some insightful advice, I'd like to just ask you all to think about these 4 things. First off, be a good person. It's who we are that makes us. It doesn't matter how many times you fly in space if you're not a good person. It doesn't matter what you do if you're not good to your fellow human beings. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you want to tell people what you really think. But you know what? Be that good person. Be that kind person. Help others. And you know what? That's what really is going to help us be the successful human beings to go explore the universe. Study hard. The more things you know, the more opportunity you have. I studied Russian language. I don't know why, but I thought maybe it would help me get into the space program. And sure enough, I had the right skills at the right time when NASA was hiring astronauts. And they hired me not because I was so tall. Well, I'm not. Or good looking. Yeah, striking out there too. But they hired me because I had the skills that they needed, including speaking Russian and Japanese. And I didn't grow up speaking it. I had to learn it in school. But I always had big dreams. I always wanted to be an astronaut since I can remember. And I'm sure you guys have big dreams too. Maybe it's flying in space. Maybe it's being a lawyer, a doctor. Maybe it's being the administrator of NASA. Maybe it's being a mom. Maybe it's being a dad. Maybe it's all of those things. But have big dreams. Don't sell yourself short. You have so many great opportunities in this country. And we're here to help you along. You've seen your mentors, you've seen your advisors, you've seen your fellow classmates. We're all in this together, and we want you to be successful. But you know what? Here's another secret. All of us, including myself, have had bad days when things seem to go wrong and horribly wrong. And it's how we handle how we handle defeat, how we handle when things don't go well, that make us the stronger person, so that we can have our dreams come true. So on behalf of all of us at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, on behalf of the Haas team, I just would like to say, congratulations and wishing you all the very best. I had this picture was in my mind. It's my inspiration. I always wanted to walk on the moon. I wanted to be part of that program, and I did get a chance to go fly in space. So may all your dreams come true. Congratulations to the class of 2020. We are very proud of you and wish you all the very, very best. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and let's see how we can do that. We're going to end our show, stop sharing our screen. There we go. And I am ready for questions and answers, and we're right on time.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Fink, for the inspiring words for our Haas scholars. And we can begin questions now.
All right, question number 1.
Hello, my name is Jose Gutierrez. I attend Milby High School in Houston, Texas. And my question is, with your background in Earth, atmospheric, and planetary sciences, why is it important to use the moon as a proving ground before going to Mars?
Yeah, Jose, nice to see you, man. Welcome. And congratulations, by the way. So we are really smart people. When I was a kid, we watched people visit the moon. Now we're going to go learn to live on the moon. And there's one thing to visit, another thing to actually be able to stay there. So we want to go live on Mars. And first off, we want to get all of our technology. We want to get all of our things that we need to survive down pat. We don't have a chance. In the moon, we can get back and forth in 3 days. Mars, it's like 3 years. So we got to have all of our technology down. We have to know how our water recycling systems work. We know how to protect astronauts from radiation. We need to have all of these things down. So we practice it kind of close, but not too close, kind of far, but not too far. And the moon is a perfect place for us to learn how to live in not zero gravity and not one Earth gravity, but in a reduced gravity setting and try to live off the land. Once we get that, I don't say perfected, but down really well, then we're going to Mars. And who knows, you could be the commander of the first mission. I'll fly with you.
All right, let's get ready for question number 2.
Hello, my name is Cindy Pratt from Columbia High School in West Columbia, Texas. My question to you is, can you describe what a launch feels like?
Hey, Sydney, really nice to meet you. Yeah, can you imagine sitting on the launch pad, your dreams about to come true, and you're sitting on top of a rocket that's full of all this explosive fuel? What's going on in our minds? What does it feel like? Well, we feel things, right? We feel things, the force of launch. We feel the engines start to run up. We feel the acceleration, the G-forces as we go on up. But we also feel things in our heart when we launch. We feel our dreams coming true. We feel the incredible surreal. It's so surreal, the surreality of it all, to be having to go, getting a chance to fly in space. So it's a big emotional event for us. Of course, we're focused on our gauges and our dials and doing the right things to be ready for anything as we launch. But in our hearts, we're singing. And so that's something that we all here at NASA wish for all of you, is to have that feeling of accomplishment and your dreams coming true. Thank you, Sydney.
All right, question number 3.
Oops, microphone's off. It happens to me.
All right, Rhea. Try to turn your microphone on.
Sorry, Rhea.
Okay.
Hey, Rhea. It happens to me too. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sorry we're not hearing your beautiful voice. But you were gonna ask. Let me guess, because I have the sheet here. But during our missions aboard the ISS, what research did we feel had the most impact on everyday life here on planet Earth? Is that correct? All right, thumbs up. All right, thank you, Rhea. So that's what I said at the beginning. We do these things to make life better here on planet Earth. All right, and you're asking what direct things can we show? One of the cool things that we found out is that, and you're going to say, yeah, of course, everyone knows this, but we didn't always know this. Exercise is really important. We have found out that in space, when we don't exercise, it's really bad on our bodies because we're floating around having a good time. We're not putting stress on our bones and on our muscles. And we had people on the very first space station missions, including Russian space station Mir, that came back with like serious osteoporosis, right? Their bones were very weak. And what we learned in space is how to exercise, what to exercise that stresses our big muscles and bones like our legs and our arms, so we're actually able to come back from space without very much, if any, bone loss, without using medicines. And what this means is that we've actually taken some of these prescriptions, some of these things that we learned in space, and are applying them to our elderly population. They're another population that can get osteoporosis. And we're showing through different medical journals and different rehabilitation techniques for them to get exercise, so they don't have to take extra expensive medicines. They are just ready, with a little bit of exercise to help make their muscles and bones stronger. So it's kind of weird. Astronauts in space are teaching old people new tricks, something like that. Thank you for your question.
All right. So let's go ahead and go with question number 4.
Hello, my name is Isaiah Baines from Spring High School in Spring, Texas. You did 9 spacewalks. What was your favorite memory while performing in EVA?
Isaiah, thanks. Nice to meet you. Love the shirt. So listen, spacewalks, if you ever get a chance, take one. It's kind of scary because you're out there, you're 300 miles above the Earth, you look down and you're hanging on the outside of the space station or spaceship, and you look, holy heck, if I let go, I'm going to fall. It's not true. You know it's not true, but your hands don't know that. They're saying, oh my goodness. But it's so cool, right? The only thing between you and the rest of the universe, you can see the stars. They're not twinkling out there, is just your visor. So one of the cool things was on one of my spacewalks, it was in the Russian spacesuit. Not every astronaut's had a chance to walk in Russian spacesuit. I was lucky. And our job was to take pictures of the outside of space station. But when it got dark, we go around the planet every 90 minutes. So about 45 minutes into the spacewalk, it got dark. And we said, hey, we can't take pictures. The camera is not getting enough light. And then what they said at the Russian control center, they said, well, just hang out. So I got paid in my life to hang out on the outside of the space station. I put down 2 tethers and just sat there and watched the world go by. And what a blessing and a privilege that was. So yeah, I got to help build things and make sure the alpha magnetic spectrometer was there, add to space station, do repairs, all these kind of things. But one of my best memories was just hanging out on the outside of space station. Great question. Thank you.
All right, and question number 5.
Hello, my name is Adriana Thomas, and I go to Victory Early College. I'm from Houston, Texas, and my question is, what was your motivation in choosing to be an astronaut?
Hey, nice to meet you. Can't see your video, but I heard you loud and clear. And so I wanted to be an astronaut since I was a little kid. I've talked to my colleagues. There you are. I talked to my colleagues, and we all have different paths, different stories that take us to our point of becoming an astronaut. But for me, it was watching people walk on the moon. I found that to be inspirational. I said, oh my goodness, I was 3 years old. What did I know? But I knew I wanted to do that. And I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to walk on the moon, but you know what? I've had some great adventures. And so what we're hoping, by sharing our NASA adventures with you, that you find inspiration for something that you want to be. Maybe it's walking on the moon, maybe it's something else. But we want you to be successful, and so hopefully some of the things that you saw as a Haas scholar, you got that inspired you, because heck, you're the next generation of explorers. And good luck. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Great. So let's go ahead and have question number 6.
Good afternoon. Nice to meet you. My name is Jasmine Pimentuan from Vanguard Academy Rembrandt Secondary in Fort Texas. Now, planetary geology is a very important component to the Artemis mission. That being said, the question is, besides water, what other resources do you think the moon will be able to provide us in our sustainability on the moon?
Hey, Jasmine, fantastic question. Forward thinking, because there's people that are going to make some money figuring out how to do these things, right? So the moon, we've brought back moon samples. We know what the moon's made out of, and yeah, we've shown that there's water there. That's important. It's important for us. But there's also iron, titanium, rare earth elements, which right now we're having troubles with in the world because it's all the rare earth elements are in China, and it's hard for us to get enough to make our super cell phones and our laptop computers and things like that. So these rare earth elements have special properties that can help us with high technology. There's all kinds of things. There's some folks that think there's a certain form isotope of helium called helium-3 that can help make fusion reactors that don't produce a lot of radioactive waste. And that could be a great resource to make life better here on planet Earth, help combat global warming. So there's all kinds of things on the moon, but we need to learn how to harvest these things, how to use the resources, how to live off the land on the moon with all of the elements, with all the materials that are there. So we don't know how to do that yet. Maybe you can help us with as you go through and figure out how to use in situ resources, on-site resources for use of lunar materials. It's an exciting field. Nice to meet you.
All right, question number 7.
Hello, my name is Abigail Jones, and I'm from the Young Women's Leadership Academy in Fort Worth, Texas. My question is, what advice would you give a young student such as myself who might want to follow in your footsteps to become an astronaut? And what was the most challenging aspect of your training?
Hello, Abigail. Very nice to meet you. And I gave some advice already, but it's really those 4 things: to be good, study hard, and to dream big and never give up. But to follow in footsteps to become an astronaut. So astronaut, right now, we're just breaking into new kinds of astronauts, right? It used to only be NASA astronauts or government astronauts. Now we have a Boeing astronaut. We have private space explorers. And all of these folks are going to be astronauts. And like I said, I don't want it just be 500 people. I want 5,000, maybe even 50,000, someday 50 million people being in space. That would be so awesome, right? So in order to do that, what the skills are, whether you want to be a company astronaut, a private space explorer, or a government astronaut, a NASA astronaut like myself, you really got to be good at science, technology, engineering, and math. And you need to be able to work well with others. You need to be able to be brave and learn how to fly airplanes. That was the toughest thing for me. Learn how to live underwater, and then you'll be able to live in space. All these kind of things that we train for as astronauts, we do together as a team. It's a fun and exciting time. And I wish you, if that's what your path, what your story is going to be to become an astronaut, I wish you all the very best.
And now for our final question, number 8.
Hello, I'm Cesar Mesa from Captain John L. Chapin High School in El Paso, Texas. And my question to you, sir, is how does it feel to work with your crew members and all of this new technology aboard the Boeing Starliner?
Hey, Cesar, nice to meet you. Con mucho gusto. And hey, it is cool. I mean, I flew on old spaceships, and now I'm getting to fly on a new spaceship. And the biggest difference, and it's a good difference, but it's also, I don't say a little bit scary, but everything is automated. Before, we'd have to do just about everything ourselves, and it took especially on the space shuttle, we had crews. The flight deck crew took 4 people to fly the spacecraft. The space shuttle is awesome. But we've been able to automate things both on the Dragon, on the Starliner, and soon Orion has a lot of automation. So we have to learn how to change our skill sets to be able to say, all right, it's automated, it's doing what it is, but I can't just fall asleep or sit there drinking a latte. I got to watch what's going on, especially on our first test missions. The same thing, like Tesla has these driving cars, right? You still have to have your hand on the thing because you don't know. This automation isn't perfect yet. It's in its infant stages, and it's doing great. But sometimes if you're not paying attention, it can go bad or not do the right thing. So automation for these new spacecraft is exciting. Fewer people need to fly to fly the spacecraft. It does a lot of things by itself, but we have to be able to watch and make sure and monitor the automation as it goes forward. So maybe yourself, maybe you're going to make this perfect AI system that flies spaceships and make a lot of money for the Space Z company, right? Who knows? There's all kinds of opportunity out there. And then you fly your own fleet of spaceships around. I'm sure Elon's thinking about that too. All right. See you. Nice to meet you.
Likewise, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fink, for taking the time to join us today to inspire the Artemis generation. We really appreciate you just joining us and giving us some words of advice. And so now we're going to go on. And with that, we have a Haas scholar today who's going to tell you more about the virtual Haas experience and the Artemis theme mission planning experience students worked on. I would like to welcome Miss Asia Adams.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Asia Adams, and I'm honored to be here representing the high school Aerospace Scholars class of 2020. I attend George Ranch High School in Richmond, Texas. I learned about Haas through a friend who shares the same interests as me and who also participated in this experience with me. Our challenge this week was to design a feasible plan to land and live on the moon. We had 4 days to organize research information on specific topics, choose 3 mission subtopics for the focus of the preliminary design, draw or build a prototype through a design challenge on the Artemis mission stages to return humans to the moon in preparation for a mission to Mars, and a preliminary design review or PDR video over our specific areas. And let me tell you, this was not an easy task. The most important thing I've learned in the virtual experience is that there is no I in team. To not work alone, but rather together with others in order to achieve a common goal. A team thrives when they have a diverse group of people with different skills and attributes who can contribute individual ideas. Diverse perspectives help you come up with succeeding innovations. When you work as a team, you grow as an individual, which promotes stronger working relationships. Each individual has unique gifts and talents and skills. When we bring them to the table and share them for a common purpose, it can give insight to real advantages. That's it.
Thank you, Asia. We appreciate you and all the Haas scholars, and we wish you guys the best and luck in your STEM future. We know you guys have a great future ahead of you. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome.
And so with that, we also want to thank the parents for your support of the Texas High School Aerospace Scholars engagement activity. We really appreciate all the support you have given your student. And I know they've spent a lot of time in the online course and then also the virtual experience. And so thank you, parents. So on this slide above, you can see the Moonshot Gamified course. There are 3 levels in which the teams work together to plan that Artemis theme mission to the lunar South Pole. You can see level 1 was all about team building and getting ready to research. Level 2 was researching their mission. The missions you can see are to the side of the Moonshot course. So teams Alpha through India were giving a specific mission to the moon. And then level 3, they had to research during level 2, and they had to create a video based on that research and explain and demonstrate how their plan reduced risks for the astronaut crew and allowed for safe deep space exploration.
So you've heard from Asia and you've seen an overview of the Moonshot experience. Now we want to give you a glimpse of the week from the student's perspective. So without further ado, here is a short video showcasing some of their thoughts from week 1.
I'm so excited to be a part of the Artemis generation because so many new things are happening. New innovative technologies. It's the first time the South Pole of the moon's going to be explored and the first woman on the lunar surface. That's awesome.
I'm excited to be a part of the Artemis generation because I'm a part of a generation that knows a lot more than what we did 100 years ago, and we can take all of our ideas and turn it into something we never even know we could. So I'm just really excited for that.
As members of the Artemis generation, not only do we become the second generation to go to the moon, which is cool enough on its own, but the first generation to go to Mars, and we also get to define what NASA's next goal after Mars is.
I'm excited to be a part of the Artemis generation because through Artemis, I will be part of an age that will utilize and create new technologies to learn more about the universe and create new opportunities in STEM.
I'm excited to be part of the Artemis generation because I will get to see more of the brilliant female minds that work in STEM.
I'm excited to be a part of the Artemis generation because I think it's pretty mind-blowing to be able to have a sustained presence on the moon.
Hello, my name is Joy, and I'm excited to be part of the Artemis generation because the first American woman will be able to land on the moon, specifically the South Pole region, by the year of 2024.
I'm excited to be a part of the Artemis generation because not only are we returning to the moon, but we are using it in new and innovative ways that will propel us into the future as we use the moon as our new home base in the solar system.
Watching the commercial crew launch, I felt more joy and excitement because we were able to do more launches and space exploration going to ISS from American soil.
As I watched the commercial crew launch from American soil to the International Space Station, I just felt so much excitement because this was probably the first time I ever saw any rocket ship launch. So it was really life-changing for me.
Interesting to watch a corporation like SpaceX and an organization like NASA work in tandem to achieve this. This is the height of engineering.
I think to describe the way I felt during watching that video was not to be cliche or anything, but I was truly in a state of wonder and awe because I know it's so complex, but they just made it seem so simple and effortless.
After watching the commercial crew launch, I felt inspired to be a part of something bigger than myself and contribute to a bigger picture.
It was exhilarating to watch because it's two Americans launching from American soil into outer space through the partnership of a large American enterprise with NASA. It's going to be a great future.
I feel proud because I have grew up watching NASA and everything about space exploration, and to see how far it came from the 1958 of the first launch to now and how much the technology has advanced.
The S-Flame experiment is my favorite one because not only does it experiment with cleaner combustion, but it's also theoretically going to allow engines in both motorcraft and aircraft to run more efficiently.
My favorite experiment was AgCam, and the benefits for Earth are more efficient conservation and farming efforts because of the important agricultural and other biological data it can provide to people on the ground.
A career that I am interested at NASA is researching climatology and meteorology. And a career that I found very surprising at NASA is the business services careers like cyber, data sciences.
I'm interested in aerospace engineering, and I didn't know NASA had a career in atmospheric chemistry and dynamics.
At NASA, I aspire to be an aerospace engineer. It is a career I've long dreamed of achieving, and I hope that I will be able to achieve in the future. But I'm most surprised that NASA hires psychologists. I understand now why, but it came off a little bit surprising for me.
I'm interested in becoming a physicist or chemist for NASA. I'm surprised that NASA hires heliophysicists because I had no idea that field ever existed. A career at NASA that I've always wanted to pursue is science and research or being an astronaut because I love astrophysics and astronomy and I love the stars. I was surprised to find that they hired recent graduates for specific things. I just didn't know.
I'm really interested in the cybersecurity and privacy department. I feel that NASA does a lot of research on an international scale. A lot of it has to be protected and watched upon. And that's such a big part of what NASA actually does with the research.
I was interested in a career in aerospace engineering that has to do with designing rockets and flight trajectories and such. But what most surprised me is the number of media and outreach business people that they hire in order to connect with the public. It really surprised me and inspired me.
challenges I'm interested in are Student Launch Human Exploration Rover Challenge and RMC Lumobotics. And I will continue to do these challenges for NASA because space is the final frontier, super interesting, and math and science are my passions.
I would be really interested in competing in the Student Launch Challenge because I love building rockets and I love designing them and I love seeing them fly into the air. And I will go and research anything to be able to try to do these challenges.
Hi, the challenges that I'm interested in are the Big Idea Challenge and the Micro G Next Challenge. I hope to participate in future challenges with NASA by focusing on STEM in college and hopefully working for NASA one day. Thank you.
Some of the Artemis student challenges I'm interested in are the Spacesuit User Interface Technologies for Students, the Micro G Next, and the Student Launch Challenges. I'll make sure to keep myself updated and informed about the challenges to continue.
All right, what an awesome video. So for week 1, our top team was Hotel 3 MHC. Let's give a shout out and a round of applause to them and some of the other top teams from week 1, Alpha through India. These top teams showed their skills to coordinate among themselves, integrate their varied tasks and responsibilities, and work with other teams. This enabled them to collaborate skillfully and self-synchronize, enabling them to rise to the top of the other teams. Again, congratulations to our top teams from week 1. You earned it.
Now, some perspectives from the students of Haas Week 2.
I personally am most interested in the food acceptability research that they're doing on the ISS. They're researching how the limited diversity in the food the astronauts eat can affect their health. I think it's important to Earth because it can affect people's nutritional decisions, especially someone like myself with a pretty limited diet would be interested in this.
My favorite research was the Veggie Ponds research, which investigated how to distribute water and nutrients to plants in space. And this will be useful on Earth whenever doing agriculture in intense environments, such like densely populated areas where there's not a lot of space for the plants to grow.
My favorite research would be the Alpha research because it's on a vehicle that's mostly 3D printed, and it's testing chipsets, which will help improve how satellites collect data.
My favorite research from Experiment 53 is Alpha, because Alpha shows the possibilities of us using solar sails in the future, and also how 3D printing can be used efficiently to make things cheap.
So my favorite piece of research from Expedition 63 is going to be the Autonomous Medical Officer Support Sophomore Demonstration. And I think it's really going to benefit Earth because it allows people to do complicated procedures and in medical emergencies where a doctor can't get there in time. That's going to be really beneficial.
As I watched the commercial crew launch from American soil, I felt exhilarated because we were making history again. I felt proud because we were venturing back into the unknowns again. Honestly, I just kept watching the video over and over again because it made me so happy.
Quite honestly, I was at work during the launch before I unfortunately had to resign from my job, but I was crying while serving customers, and though it was a little embarrassing, I couldn't contain how passionate and happy I was about the launch.
When I first watched the launch, I felt really excited because I hadn't been able to see something like this before, and I also felt a sense of patriotism because I knew that this was a big step in the U.S. being able to explore space.
Watching the commercial crew launch was exhilarating. Watching our astronauts launch from our soil was just amazing. It felt like I was a kid on Christmas.
Watching the launch, I was really excited because it's been a really long time since American astronauts were launched into space using an American spacecraft from American soil.
So excited to watch Bob and Doug launch from American soil for the first time in a really long time. And my whole family was excited too, as we all got together to watch the historical launch live on TV.
Yeah, let's go. USA, USA.
A career at NASA for astrophysics sounded incredibly interesting because I'm really interested in astrophysics, so that would be cool. But I was also surprised to find out that they have science writing jobs, and I'm also interested in writing, and so that was really cool to find out and know that they recognized.
A career that I'm interested in at NASA is astrophysics and stuff because I want to be an astronaut. And the career that surprised me was medicine because I never thought doctors could work at NASA.
The career at NASA I'm most interested in is aerospace engineering because I hope to attend Texas A&M University and major in a master's degree in aerospace engineering so I can learn more of the ins and outs of aerospace and the aeronautical field and all it kind of demands from it.
One job that I would like to have would be the research computer engineer. And one job that I wouldn't say surprised, but I just never thought about that NASA would hire was the budget analyst.
Interested in being a mechanical engineer at NASA, and I'm also very surprised to see that they actually hire psychologists for human studies as well.
I'm excited to be a part of the Artemis generation because it means that I'll be living through an era of economic cultivation as well as technological advances. I believe this mission has the ability to bring unity and pride back into the American people as well as international relations. I'm excited to be a part of the Artemis generation because I feel like we are the first step towards new scientific discoveries and new scientific opportunities.
I'm excited to be part of the Artemis generation because it opens up more opportunities to see new technologies at work.
I'm excited to be part of the Artemis generation because in the next 4 years, we will be landing the first woman on the moon, a huge step for women in the aerospace industry. And we will be one step closer to living on Mars as we receive groundbreaking knowledge on the effects of space travel on the human body.
I'm excited to be part of the Artemis generation because it's a challenge going to the moon and Mars, and so I feel like there's going to be a lot of cool technologies developed as a result.
One of the reasons I'm excited to be part of the Artemis generation is the fact that we will be landing the first woman and the next man on the moon. I believe that this important mission, including female representation, will serve as an inspiration for girls around the world.
That I'm so excited to be part of the Artemis generation is because I never really thought that I'd get to see people walk on the moon. We'd already been there. I wasn't sure if people were going to go back in my lifetime, and I'm so excited that I get the opportunity to see that.
I believe that the largest impact of space travel is not in the people we put in space, but the people that we inspire. This is why I'm so excited to be a part of the Artemis generation, as it brings with it a new age of dreamers who will be a force for change on and off this planet.
All right, we are now with our top teams of week 2 and our top team for week 2. So for week 2, our top team was Hotel 3, the Lunar Inn Hotel team. Give a shout out to the hotel team along with the Alpha and India top teams that you see on the left. These top teams demonstrated the critical skills of coordination, integration, collaboration, synchronization as high-performing teams. This resulted in their ability to rise to the top of all teams in week 2. So again, congratulations to our top teams.
The moon behind me is big and bright. And that's exactly what you have in front of you, a big and bright future. Most students heard about Haas from a teacher, counselor, or conversations with a friend or relative that attended Haas in the past years. This year, reaching teachers, counselors, and students will be different for my team. I am asking that you become an ambassador for NASA. We are depending on you to let your friends, family, school, and community know about Haas and share that NASA is going back to the moon and the first female and the next man will step foot on the lunar south pole of the moon. We want them to be part of our exciting NASA journey. Please share nasa.gov/STEM and you will find NASA at-home resources, ways to stay connected through our student challenges and internship opportunities. NASA's goal is to reach more students than ever before. We are also beginning recruiting for the Haas class of 2021, beginning September through October. So be sure to share nasa.gov/Haas. You can find graphics there that you can easily download and share with friends via text or post to your social media accounts. Lastly, I began my career when I was a junior in high school. Never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined that I would have a 29-year career at NASA. The highlight of my career has been working with Haas, this very special program for juniors. Whatever dream you have on your heart at this moment, just know that your dreams will be bigger than you can imagine. You are the Artemis generation, the generation that will take us to Mars and beyond. Thank you all for joining us today to recognize the Haas class of 2020. This concludes our program for today. Thank you.